What's up everybody, Doomwake here. Welcome back to another modern video on the channel. As always, before we continue, be sure to smash that like and subscribe button. We just hit 3,000 subscribers on the channel, so thank you so much for all the love and support. I really do appreciate it. This past month has been absolutely insane. The growth on the YouTube channel as well as the Twitch channel, which I will pop a link for in the description below, has been out of this world, and I cannot thank y'all enough for supporting my content. With that, we have, as you can see in front of us, Mill. We're going to continue to explore what Modern Horizons 2 brought to previous archetypes and some new archetypes. This one happens to be a previous archetype that was already a fairly good deck. People had played it prior to MH2. The biggest issue with Mill before was that Prowess was not the best matchup. There are some things you can do, but anyways, let's go over what this deck is trying to do. Basically, think of Mill as a burn deck. However, your opponent starts at 60 life instead of 20. That's kind of the way that I look at Mill. And your burn spells are a little bit more powerful. You have 5 mana for 13 damage, 3 mana for 14 damage, so on and so forth. That's kind of like the way that I like to look at Mill. But it's pretty straightforward. Hedron Crab, Ruin Crab, creatures that have landfall, your opponent mills 3 cards. That's why we have a bunch of fetch lands and Field of Ruins. Visions of Beyond, very powerful card. It's akin to Ancestral Recall if a graveyard has 20 or more cards in it. And then we have, our powerful sort of top-end mill spells. Archive Trap, Fractured Sanity. Archive Trap, even though it looks like it costs 5 mana, most of the time it doesn't, because if your opponent searches their library, you can cast it for free. And even if they're playing a deck that doesn't frequently search their library or at all, you have Field of Ruin and not Surgical, just Field of Ruin, to force them to shuffle, excuse me. Surgical, you're still searching their library, because it says you search their library. But Archive Trap, powerful card. And then the new cards here, Fractured Sanity and Counterspell. So Fractured Sanity, blue, each opponent mills 14. That's important because it says each opponent. One of the more common sideboard cards against Mill is Leyline of Sanctity, and Fractured Sanity gets around that because it doesn't target an opponent. Same with Ruin Crab. It does not target, it says each opponent. And the real nice thing about Fractured Sanity is it cycles for 2 mana, so if you need to hit a land drop, maybe you're stuck on 2 lands and you want to hit some more land drops, maybe fuel your crabs, you can cycle it, and you still get some pretty good value out of when you cycle it. Now, obviously, it's only 2 mana for milling 4 cards, so it's not the most in terms of, rate of, mana spent to cards milled, but it plays very nicely with your counterspells, Counterspell and Draw in the Lock, because you can hold up mana, and if your opponent chooses to not play into your counter magic, you still get some value. You can use your mana in the, just cycling the Fractured Sanity and not get time walked when your opponent doesn't play into your counterspells. So that's really nice. And then the aforementioned counterspell, I think a lot of, when Fractured Sanity was spoiled, everybody thought that this was going to be the new, it was going to replace Glimpse the Unthinkable, because that's what people were playing before. Blue-black, target player mills 10. And I don't really think that people necessarily thought Counterspell was going to be a major player in this archetype, but the way that this deck is constructed, again, you now have the 8 Counterspells, so you can play more of like a flash game, where you can hold up mana for Counterspells. If your opponent chooses to not play into it, you can use your mana elsewhere. But you obviously have the alternate mode of just hardcasting this, and this still clocks them pretty quickly. 3 mana for 14 cards is a pretty good rate, roughly close to the same rate as Glimpse, because if you think of Glimpse as 2 mana for 10 cards, split that in half, 1 mana for 5 cards. So 1 mana for 5 cards would be 3 mana for 15 cards. This is 3 mana for 14. So it's roughly the same rate as Glimpse, but it just has the optionality of, holding it up and using your mana when they don't play into your counterspells. And then Drawn in the Lock, just a very versatile card. Obviously a staple in mill decks, because this thing's always going to be turned on when you're aggressively milling your opponent. Just a very powerful card. This is probably the best Drawn in the Lock deck you'll ever see, because it's almost always going to be live. And then to round out the deck, we have a couple removal spells. Fatal Push, just to stave off some early aggression. Mesmeric Orb, which is another powerful card when your opponent is putting a lot of permanents onto the battlefield. and it's kind of another way to sort of get around lane line because it doesn't target. It just they mill the cards. So kind of a pretty much a staple in mill decks. And then your surgical extractions. As you can imagine, when you're milling your opponent, you can mill over a key piece and then surgically extract all of those copies from their entire deck. So if you're playing against the combo deck or Tron, perhaps, you can surgical a Tron land or a combo piece to maybe make it so your opponent can't realistically win the game anymore. So surgical is very powerful. Mana base, nothing too crazy going on here. Again, 4 copies of Field of Ruin, which might seem like a lot, but because we have Archive Trap, we want to be able to force them to shuffle, because Field of Ruin is not a May. Ghost Quarter, on the other hand, is a May. With Ghost Quarter, it says your opponent may search their library. And the other nice thing about Field of Ruin is it's good with the crabs, because it gives you some additional landfall triggers. And the only other sort of like land that isn't obvious is Oboro. And the really nice thing about Oboro is because you're playing 8 crabs, only 22 lands, you can get into spots where you start to run out of lands, but Oboro just makes it so your crabs are sort of always turned on. And we are a Lurrus deck. Don't forget that. We're a Lurrus deck game 1, so there's situations where your crabs die, or maybe your opponent discard spells your crabs, go later into the game, Lurrus, crab. You're really going to want that Oboro, because as the later you go into the game, you've probably made all of your land drops. You may not have some leftover lands for the crabs. And then, as far as the sideboard is concerned, again, we are a Lurrus deck, so that's one of our sideboard slots. 4 copies of Soul Guide. I'm not really sure if you necessarily need the full 4 copies right now, but Dredge is historically kind of a weird matchup, and I assume that's why we're playing 4 copies of Soul Guide. I guess it's good against the red-black Arcanist, Dragon's Rage Channeler, Lurrus, Kroxa decks. It's probably pretty important in the Kroxa matchups too, so I definitely understand why there's those. Yeah, definitely want it against Kroxa. Profane Memento for your aggressive matchups. Whenever a creature card is put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, you gain 1 life. Anywhere meaning if you mill over a creature, you get a trigger off the Memento to gain some life. Very important against aggressive strategies. And then you'll see here we are a Lurrus deck. However, we have Ashiok Dreamrender and Ensnaring Bridge in our sideboard, which do not allow us to reveal Lurrus as a companion in those post-board games when we bring these cards in. However, it is very important to have Ensnaring Bridge, access to Ensnaring Bridge against the aggressive strategies. Some decks just have a very hard time beating this card, and then Ashiok for graveyard decks and Amulet. And then we have additional removal spells, Damnation and Fatal Push for the aggressive matchups as well. And then a 4th copy of Surgical when you really need it, playing against the combo deck, playing against Tron. That's where you want the 4th copy of Surgical. So that is the deck list. Again, fairly straightforward stuff. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. So let's get into some games. I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 1. All right, everybody, we're back here for round number 1. League with Blue-Black Mill. Won the die roll. That's pretty good. What do we got? We have a crab, some lands, a drown, a counterspell. Yeah, this hand seems fine to me. We go turn 1 island crab. Turn 2 we can either hold up counterspell or drown a thing or cycle sanity. We got a lot of options for turn 2. Seems like a fine mix of lands and spells. That's black-green, so probably food, right? Oh. I don't know who's favored in this matchup. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I've never seen this matchup from either side. I have to imagine that Mesmeric Orb is pretty good, right? I wonder if they have a shuffle effect. I mean, I would have to believe that Mill is favored because maybe they play Witchbane Orb? I don't know. It's the Battle of the Orbs. I guess they have Saga. Saga can pressure you. But outside of Saga, okay, I think we figured out who's favored in the matchup. Anyways, all right, Surgical's good. I know Fatal Push is bad, right? It deals with what you call it, Saga. I know Incursion's bad. So we're at this, and we need a couple more cards. Pretty sure I want to keep access to Lurrus. I think Ashiok is good against them, but I don't think it's as important as having access to Lurrus. So maybe just a couple soul guides, because nothing else. It's either that or push. I feel like, outside of some crazy sideboard cards, I feel like they are pretty cold, and Soul Guide gets around to shuffle Eldrazi, so I'll just use that as my reasoning for bringing in Soul Guide. I think we can do better. We do have a turn 2 Orb, but they usually have Abrupt Decay. I'll ship this. Alright, 5 we go. And this hand's not great, but I think it's better than going to 4. I think I'm going to keep... I want to keep the Field of Ruin because I want to make sure... Oh, they have Leyline, right, okay. I guess I should have put this back, huh? I forgot about Leyline. That is a card that makes a lot of sense for them to have. Okay. I guess I should have put back Archive Trap then, to play around that a little bit. Because now if they have Abrupt Decay or something for this, then it's not great for us. They could have Assassin's Trophy. And they have turn 2 Saga, also not great. And the Inquisition, okay. Well, their draw was quite good. They had the Leyline, the Saga, and the discard spell from my Orb. It's about as good as it gets. And the best I can come up with is nothing here, and then Luristan on turn 3. Probably not good enough. Okay. That's actually not too bad, because what I can do next turn is Field of Ruin the Saga and Surgical it. Because I think Saga is the most threatening card. They're going to get 1 token, which I can drown. But I feel like if we can Surgical the Sagas, I think we have a lot, basically infinite time. Oh, they're main phasing that. Don't they know I have Drown? It's so good for me that I get to use my mana here. I mean, they also know about the field, but I'm very happy that I get to use my mana here. Alright, I'm going to do this before they untap, so they can't activate it again. Get a basic island. And then I'm going to Surgical those in their draw step, in case they have more in their hand. I think that is the card that is most threatening. It's the only way they can really generate pressure. They did have 1 in their hand. Oh, wait, can I undo? Oh, did I just break it? Hope I didn't just crash Moto. I think I did. I went to undo it. Oh, no. Yep, that was my bad. Okay. I didn't realize that you couldn't undo that. Well, I'll probably fast forward this part a little bit till we get back to the spot in the game where we're actually still playing. Oh, here we are. Never mind, that was quick. Okay, exile. Oh, no. Are we stuck in the loop? Alright, the game is restarted. I did not know that was bugged. Did not know that that was bugged. Because I did not want to exile the one in their graveyard for Visions of Beyond purposes. Alright, everybody, we're back here. I don't really know what happened there. I think there was some issue, obviously some issue with the client. Stuck in our opponent's draw step. I think they were trying to choose to play. I'm not really sure what happened there. That was kind of weird. Now I know that Surgical is bugged. I knew that Expressive Iteration was bugged in the same regard that if you undo it, restarts the game, but I did not know it was the same for Surgical. So I guess it's time to submit a bug report. In any case, we won the match. I guess I'll see you back in a little bit for round number 2? Question mark? All right, we're back here for round number 2. Our goal this round, very simple. Don't crash the client. Let's go. Play first. Luris, what do we got? We have Surgical, Counterspell, not enough lands, mulligan. Okay, sand is much, much better. I'm going to put back Island. I'm going to go Dark Slick Shores, Crab. Turn 2, Crab, Fetch Land. Turn 3, Field, Archive Trap. This is kind of the nuts, isn't it? Well, I mean, the nuts would be the quad trap hand. I hope we get it once. I've heard rumblings of it, but I've never actually seen it in action. The quad trap hand. Your opponent just cracks a fetch line and loses the game immediately. I'm also gonna fetch main phase because I don't want them killing my crabs in response. Ooh, good matchup for us. Good matchup for us. I don't know if our opponent has Ley Line of Sanctity or not, but we'll see. I hope they cast Ren in 6. They did cast Ren in 6, so this is 6, 12, 25. They're going to go to 15 cards. And we just have lethal the turn after. I think we are in a good spot. Second trap. I mean, I'll take it. An island. Trip third island so we can cast Fractured Sanity. I don't know that it matters, but... Alright, they're on 14 cards. They're off it. Next game. Alright, Scape Shift. You don't have to do too much. Surgical is good. Push is interesting. I wonder if they probably have a shuffle effect, right? They almost certainly do. So against shuffle effects, you can either choose to only have surgical, in which case you surgical to shuffle effect and they get the rest of their cards back in their deck, or you can choose to bring in Soul Guide Lantern, which you can get their whole graveyard with. And I think I'm going to bring in a couple lanterns. I think Orb might not actually be where I want to be in this matchup. Also, Crypt Incursion's bad. So I can do 4 lanterns, 2 orbs. Or, I probably actually want Ashiok, right? Because they're a Bring to Light deck. Yeah, just have no orbs. I like that. Luris, I think, is less important in this matchup. It definitely could come up, but... And it's possible that 4 Soul Guides is too many. I'm willing to believe that. Alright, what do we got here? We have no crabs. This hand's close. The only issue with this hand is it just kind of doesn't do anything. It's very reactive. And also the Soul Guide is effectively a mulligan with this particular hand. Like the Soul Guide's only good once you have the mill engine going because it's just insurance against against shuffle effects. But like shuffle effects aren't really good against this hand anyway, so that's why the Soul Guide's kind of a blank. I'm actually gonna mulligan this hand. Like, the hand's fine, but I think we can do better. It's literally the exact same hand. It's the same hand, but with worse mana. Right, I'll go to 5. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. I'm going to put back the second Visions, and I think just the Drown? How quickly can I Visions here? I put back Drown and they kill Crab, then I have a Sanity and a Visions. Not great. Maybe I just put back the other Visions and then shuffle them back in. I think that's actually good. Put back the other Visions, and then I can go turn 1 Crab, turn 2, shuffle them back in. But I'm not certain that I want a Visions in this opening hand, because I don't have quite enough to turn it on. Not enough juice. I'll play that first. Well, we're into game 2 and we haven't crashed the client yet, so that's a good start. Red in 6, but no fetch land. Maybe they have a fetch and they're just not willing to crack it yet. But usually if you have fetch lands, you want to crack them early. Get them out of the way. Huh. So here's the issue. If I play Watery Grave, not only do I have to shock it and I represent Drown anyways, but the other issue with playing Watery Grave is if I mill 3 cards, they hit a land. What they can do is plus the Ren, and if it's not a fetch land, then they can go land Dryad with only 2 cards in the graveyard. I guess then I could just kill it next turn, but I really want to counter it, so I'm going to do it this way. And just hold up Drown. I don't think I want to fetch main phase. If they kill the crab, they're just going to, they're just going to fire it off. Alright, they got back Stomping Ground. Got back Stomping Ground, played Rogarin Triome. I do kind of want to use my mana here. Okay, maybe I should have fetched on my turn. Also, maybe should have just got a basic there, because now I have to shock again, which is, it's fine. It's not the worst, but now we have 2 Field of Ruins with a Drown Up, so we can drown whatever they do this turn. Next turn, double field, or field them, turn after field them. Each field is worth 12 cards. The Ren's on 5. The Ren ultimating is sort of an issue. What do they have right now? They have a Helix. Yeah, they can just Helix me out if they do that. What land did they get back this turn? Get back Foothills. Okay. Okay, that's not too bad. I think I'm going to pass and see what they do. I might draw step this Field of Ruin. What's in their graveyard? Island Plains. I mean, they could have the basic forest in their hand. No, I'm just gonna wait, I think. Because if I do it proactively, they can respond and kill one of these. Well, I don't have the Drown Up. Not that I would necessarily want to drown anyways. And I think I'm letting this go. I think what I might end up doing is let them ult the Ren, and with the Ren ult on the stack, I can Surgical Helix, and then they have Bring to Light, Explore, Dispute, which is fine. It's not that bad for me. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep passing. Basically, I just want to make them act first. I want to be as reactive as possible. I want to make them, they're going to be the ones that have to make the first move, essentially, is what I'm getting at. All right, so they have a Helix. What I can do is I can respond. Target probably Jeskai. I don't think it matters too much. So I guess now they're going to kill the other one. Nope, they don't. Okay. So now what if I Field of Ruin again? So they're on the hook for 6. If I Field of Ruin again, they're on the hook for 6 more. Oh, they also didn't find a basic. So that would put them at 10 cards. I mean, it sucks if they have a shuffle effect, but I do have Surgical, so I can kind of cover the shuffle effect to an extent. But they still get to shuffle the rest of their graveyard in. Like if they flip over an Eldrazi, I can Surgical the Eldrazi, but they still get the rest of their graveyard back in their deck. But now it's like pretty rough. Even if they ult the Brand, they only have 3 lands, and they could have Endurance here because I'm tapped out of Drown. That's the one card they could have. But outside of Endurance, I think we're good. All right, they did ult the Ren. I'm not even going to respond. Honestly, if they want to spend their turn casting Lightning Helix, I think that's okay, unless I miss something. They get Prismatic Ending, also fine. Don't really care about that. Could even end step Surgical the Disputes, just to like double check and see what's in their hand, and then I can Sanity with Drown Up, which is probably good enough anyways, but, funny business. Alright, just double check the graveyard. Helix, Dispute, Explore. Is that it? Prismatic Ending? Okay. I'm gonna tag the Dispute end step. They did have a Dispute in their hand. Bring to light Omnath, Scape Shift Ren. Okay. They look to be dead. Alright, they agree. Yeah, that's another one of the reasons to play Mill. This matchup is heavily favorable, so hope you enjoy the games. See you back in just a little bit. Round number 3. All right, YouTube, let's go. Round 3, 2-0. See if we can keep it going. Gigantha the Wellspring. Well, huh. I don't know what Gigantha means. It could mean a couple of things. Could mean Tron, could mean Affinity, could mean Zoo, and it's a pretty wide range of decks, you know? Like, Fatal Push is decent against the creature decks, Field of Ruin's good against the Tron decks, but like if they're playing Tron, like hypothetically, if I knew they were playing Tron, do I think Field plus 2 bricks is good enough? Probably not. And if they're playing Zoo, this hand is pretty good because we can push a 1-drop, play Orb on 2, and then, we just kind of have a good curve. I'm going to keep this and hope they're playing not Tron. And I also think that Tron is such a good matchup after, like, just in a general sense that... Oh, they're doing prowess things. Okay. Well, this matchup is pretty bad, but our hand is somewhat decent against them. You have to shock on 1, which sucks, but... Yeah, this matchup is generally pretty bad. Prowess decks in general. Mill kind of struggles against prowess decks. That is where you lose percentage points. Sheesh. Their draw is really good. It's hard to beat the triple 1-drop draw. This is all I got. I got an orb. I got an orb. Creatures, creatures, creatures. I got 2 creatures. Probably not good enough. Okay, almost certainly not good enough. I'm curious. I want to see if they're playing Phoenix. Because I think, okay, they are playing Phoenix. That's good to know about. That's going to drastically change my sideboarding. I mean, we're still going to get clapped this game, but that's going to drastically change the way that I sideboard. Because normally Surgical and Crypt Incursion are bad against Prowess, but they're both really good against Phoenix, I think. We're at 9. Do I have any way out of this? I hope that they put a bunch of Phoenixes in their graveyard and I can Crypt Incursion them. It's my one way out of this, I guess. Okay, so we have Soulscar, Phoenix, Soulscar. So we're on 4 right now. It's 12 life. Come on, discarding the Phoenix. There we go. Okay, okay. Still might just take lethal this turn. Even plus 15. I doubt, well, plus 15 we're probably not taking lethal, but... Okay. This is Maximize Velocity. So that's 2 spells. And they're going to flashback Dart for the 3rd spell on 2 Phoenixes. I would assume... How do they have 14 cards in their graveyard and not have Delirium? Guess they just never hit a bauble. Alright, well, Crypt Incursion you. I don't think this is going to be good enough, but... We're at 16, and they have 38 cards. Okay. Could hardcast Fractured Sanity. Or I could cycle it. Hardcast Sanity lets me cast Visions next turn, and I think that's probably my only way out, so let's do that. I don't really see myself winning this game without casting a bunch of Visions, so... I'm going to turn on my Visions. It's super awkward because I can mill over Phoenixes or Lava Darts, but... You gotta do what you gotta do. There are 19 cards. Wait, they just F6'd? So I'm at 10. Can I actually win this game? Okay, okay. Hold. Hold. I will draw 3 cards. I can't Archive Trap. I can go Crab, Crab, Land. Hope I survive and then hardcast trap next turn. Okay. They might have a bolt, but looks like they do have a bolt. Ooh, they don't have a bolt. So they go to 13 cards. We just need to survive. They have any phoenixes? They only have one lamb, which makes it hard for them to, triple or double or triple spell. They have a dart. Is that just one dart? 2 darts. 2 darts, but no phoenixes. Okay, bolt me. Puts me to 7. Oh, I guess I'm dead to the last bolt, right? Do they have a bolt left? 1. Okay. Dart me to 5. Or wait, they're darting the crab. Are they darting a crab? No, they're darting me. This isn't lethal, right? They dart me again to 5. I block, go to 2. Unless they have another bolt. They can maximize velocity that thing, and then dart me, but that's still 1 short, right? And they have no lands after they dart. Did they have lethal if they double darted the crab? With 1 blocker? They did, right? Because even if they don't cast the velocity, I still take 7. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they had lethal if they just double dart the crab, the O2. Because I only have 1 blocker. Yeah. Oh, they had a phoenix. I missed that. Okay, so I guess I was dead anyways. Wow. All right, never mind. Never mind. They had me dead. I missed the phoenix. They must have milled that. They must have surveilled that because when they started the turn, they didn't have it. So why did they do that? Yeah, they discarded it to. Oh, they discarded it to the velocity. Okay. Cool. Profane Memento, good card. This is weird. Like, I kind of want Soul Guide Lantern because it shuts off Darcy and Arclight, but at the same time, I don't. I don't think I want Bridge because they have a lot of burn spells. I think you have to bring in all your pushes. And, like, Surgical is a card you usually cut against Prowess, but it is good against Phoenixes specifically. I think I'm still going to cut the Surgicals, though, because we have Crypt Incursions. And I think that's good enough. Mesmeric Orb is usually also pretty bad. It's just kind of slow. Do I want Bridge? Do I want a Lantern? Do I want Damnation? Counterspell is also not great against them. Just because you're always trading down on mana with Counterspell, unless you counter salvaging, but... I don't know. I really don't know. This is weird. I kind of want to try cutting counterspells and playing like 3 Surgicals, 2 Lanterns. Maybe 3 Lantern, 2 Surgical. I kind of want to try no counterspell. I'm gonna try 3 Lantern, 2 Surgical. I think that makes sense to me. Alright, let's play first. Got a fan just responding to a fan here. Okay. This is super awkward. I have to keep this hand, but the fact that this is not a blue-producing land is super awkward because I have to fetch before I play the crab. There's some consideration to not play crab on 1, but crab on 1 into crab plus push on 2 if they don't bolt this is so good for me. They're probably going to bolt it, but ooh, they didn't. That's good for me. Now I can just hold the Fatal Push. We milled an Arclight, which is awkward. But as long as they don't get it back this turn, we can Crypt Incursion next turn, so... Okay, they'd have the double 1-drop draw again. Kind of sad. Bolt a crab. Just gonna kill this thing now. I don't believe they play Mutagenic Growth. Oh, but they have Lava Dart. Am I okay trading? No, I don't want to make that trade. They also sometimes play gut shot, so I'm just not going to block. Feign Memento. They have 4 cards. They have 3 creature cards in the graveyard right now. I think I gotta hold up Crypt Incursion. Yeah, I think I have to. It feels kind of bad. We only get 2 more creatures. I'm just kind of worried about them having a big Phoenix turn, which is why I want to hold up Incursion this turn. I could have played Memento and potentially gained more life off the crab. But if I do that, I'm not holding up Incursion, and they can set up a Phoenix turn, so I don't think I like that very much. Maximize velocity. Yes, this is good for us. This is good for us. Yeah, because we're gonna get them to spend a lot of resources. A lot of resources. And we're at 33. Oh yeah. That was what we call a good turn. Just gonna play some things. I'm gonna put Lurrus in my hand, but I'm short of Black Source anyways. Okay. No attacks. Drown in the Loch. Still no second Black Source. I'll just hold up Drown. Probably gonna end up killing a Swift Spear this turn. Fetchland does not quite turn on Visions, right? Because they're on 6. Fetchland would be 12. That's 18. I will block one of them. Blocking with the O3 so I can try to get them to cast more spells. Because I'm going to end up casting Drown anyways. Do I want to drown this? No, I think I'd rather just kill a creature. Also might get them to spend the Lava Dart. Oh, I see. They're going to post-combat the Lava Dart. Well, no, right? Because if I get them to cast a Lava Dart, they're going to be so much farther away from this anyways. I'm actually just going to kill the other one. And if they want to spend the Lava Dart to kill the crab, that's fine. I can live with that. But they're not going to because they want to try and get the Phoenix back next turn. How about more Visions? It's not what I'm looking for. They are on 8 cards now, though, so Fetchland would turn on Visions. They're about to go to more, too, so. Lightning Bolt, I assume going after Crab. Yeah. And then Dart's going after me. They did that all on upkeep because they get worth noting, if you cast Faithful Salvaging with no cards in your hand, you just draw a card. It's something to note. Now we're at 22. This game got a little bit closer. Okay. I'm going to cycle that because I can't cast it. So they go to 14 cards. Okay. And they have 2 Lava Darts. 1, 2, yeah, 2 Lava Darts. No additional Phoenixes. It's going to be no, not a Giganta turn. Mana, Morphos. So I guess it still could be a Giganta turn, but. Okay. Did you light up the stage? I did. That's bad for me. So now they can. You still only have 1 dart, right? Yeah, 1 dart. So they can kill a crab, play a salvaging. I mean, they should just start with salvaging, yeah. This is not great for me. It's 8 damage. I see. They're not going to cast the heat because they don't want to turn on visions. Smart play. So I guess I can just take this. Go to 13. Yeah, I'll take it. I thought about blocking there, but are they going to cast the heat? I don't think they are. I assume they didn't cast it. Yeah, I was gonna say they. I assume they didn't cast it before blocks because they just didn't want to cast it. And of course, I drew another Visions. Oh, come on. It's the actual worst draw on the deck. Just any land is so good. I mean, I guess I can cycle and try and hit a land. That's tough. Alright, we did still hit a land, so that's good. So we got a 14. Now we can Ancestral. Okay. Now what? Now I think I just want to pass. Because if I fetch now, they're just going to respond on Unholy Heat. Be any Phoenixes? Dart. No. One Dart, no Phoenix. And I only have one Phoenix left, right? 1, 2, 3. They have one Phoenix left. Alright, I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass. Because they're not going to cast this end step, I don't think. No. Honestly, at this point, I could probably just block the Swift Spear. Alright, they're on no cards. I mean, I have perfect information, right? So 3, 4, 5. Well, I don't, because they can draw a card. Assume they draw Bolt, which I imagine is worst possible for me. That'd be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That would be lethal. Alright, I guess I'll block. I end up losing both crabs this way. But I'm just going to Ancestral regardless, so I think this ends up being fine. I can also Visions now to try and hit a Fatal Push. We did. And I'll just kill this one. Well, actually kill this one. We go to 16 and then we have 2 crabs guaranteed. But there are 12 cards. Oh, I guess they can hold up the canyon, right? Yeah, okay. That should do it, yeah. So Field You, Hardcast Trap. Guess they have an Eldrazi. Don't think they have an Eldrazi. Does that work with Giganta? Just says no card in your starting deck has more than one of the same mana symbol, but it doesn't because it just has cost 15 or whatever. Anyways, I'm rambling. Game 3, let's go. I kind of like how I sideboarded. Counterspell, especially on the draw, I think is quite poor. And Ensnaring Bridge is something you could sell me on, but you have to empty your hand very quickly, and they have a lot of burn spells. So I don't actually think Bridge is where I want to be. Plus, I think Lurrus is actually quite good in this matchup. So I'm just going to do this. Game 3, we go. All right. Reveal Lurrus. What do we got? They keep 7. They kept 7. This hand's dicey. This hand, we have no interaction outside of Drown, but Drown's not usually turned on without crabs early. And I don't believe they have a single fetch land in their deck. So they're also low on non-basics. I think I have to mulligan this hand. Okay. Okay, this hand plays. I'm gonna put back Trap. This hand has no interaction, but it's potentially can race. I say potentially because maybe not. That's what that means, but okay. Profane Memento is actually not a bad draw. I think I need to save the fetch lane. I'm just going to shock. I'm going to lead on Hedron Crab. Because if they attack, I'm probably just going to block. And if they want to dart it, that's fine. If they're darting that and not playing another creature, I think I'm actually okay with that. Maybe not, though. It's worse against Unholy Heat because they can Unholy Heat this without Delirium. I'm down to block. Light up the stage. Okay. Heat Tarn. Also okay. Okay. Alright, Crab. And save targets. Always yield. I think I'm just going to play another Crab here. And then, so I let them, I'm not telling them I have Memento. And then next turn I can just go Memento, land, gain some life, visions. Hopefully find a Fatal Push. I guess I actually can't do that. Because I would have to play Memento before playing my land. And if I do that, then I have to go tap Island for Memento, play Field of Ruin, tap Watery Grave for Visions, but then I wouldn't be able to cast a Fatal Push because my Watery Grave would be tapped. So that's awkward a little bit, but... Okay. What do we got? Polluted Delta. Well, that's actually good because now I can just go Memento Delta, right? Gain a bunch of life and then visions and still hold up push. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so go to 12. I'm going to visions now. Kind of need to find a push, though. Depending on how much life we gain off of this. We definitely still could take lethal. Guess I'll play another blocker. Alright, do your worst, opponent. What's in their graveyard? Dart, dart, dart. It's 3 darts. And is that no phoenixes? No. 31 cards, no phoenixes. That is pretty lucky. I don't know if you can hear in the background, but there's some fireworks going on outside. Happy 4th of July, everybody, by the way. I'm recording this on Sunday. Alright, they have a Phoenix in their hand. Notably gain a life off of that. That's dope. Well, let's see if they can kill me. I think I did all I could this game, I believe. They've been to 4th dart, but they can only cast 2. Maximize velocity. Still only 1 Phoenix, though, right? That's 2. That's 10 damage. Oh, wait. What happened to the 3rd Phoenix? Was there not... Did they not cast 3 spells? Oh, no, because one of them was a bauble, right? Am I missing something? Turn 4. Faithless Salvaging. Bauble. Oh, okay. So it was 3 spells, 1 was a bauble. So if I do this, and I take 8, go to 7. They could technically kill us on upkeep, right? Because they can double dart us. They would need 2 more lightning bolts. How many bolts have they gone through? 1, 2... That's the last 2 bolts. Oh, they only have 1 card. Right, okay. So there's no possible way? No, they can sack Bauble. Draw a card that way, right? And I don't have guaranteed lethal if I block with 2, right? Because I only have 6 cards. 6, 9, 12. I actually don't even have guaranteed lethal if I block with 1. Yeah. Right? Yeah, if I make this block, you know what? I think I'm actually gonna do this. Yeah, because they can double dart the Hedron crabs anyways. This means I don't have lethal, but okay. Fatal push. I gotta do this now. Because if I don't do this now, oh, I should have played Memento. Crap. I knew I forgot something. Why didn't I play Memento? That should have been 2 extra life. Yeah, that's actually really bad that I didn't play the Memento. That's just 2 life missed. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me. I think it might. Something. Okay. They did find a bolt. So now we gotta find a trap or... Or actually, are we just dead? 14, 13, 12. And that's 15. So even if I missed the 2 life, I still would have died, right? Because I would have been at 14 and they were attacking me for 15. Yeah. Oh, plus they had the 2 Phoenixes. Okay, yeah. Huh. That was an interesting game. Very interesting game. I wonder... And we had the lethal trap on top. I feel like there's a way I could have won that game. I have to go back and watch that. Let me know in the comment section below if there was anything I could have done differently. I thought I sequenced my cards pretty well that game. Obviously, I missed the Profane Tutor in the last turn, or the Profane Memento in the last turn there, but other than that, I think I liked the way I played this game for the most part. Yeah, it was a sweet game, so I hope you enjoyed the games. I'll see you back in just a little bit for round number 4. All right, everybody, round number... I forget what round it is. Round 4, I think? Just take my headphones off. All right, let's go. Round 4. What do we got? Vision Surgical Lands. No thanks. Hand's not ideal. I'm going to keep it, though. I think I'm going to put back either the trap or the second counter spell. I think I'm going to put back the second counter spell. Maybe that's wrong. I'm going to Shores on 1. Hopefully they play a 1-drop that I can push. Then we can fetch, play Orb on 2. Maybe I'm supposed to keep the counter spell, keep the second counter spell, and pitch the trap. Because the trap is kind of bad if they don't play a fetch land. Oh, well. Looks like they're not going to be playing fetch lands. Well, that's not good. Humans? Could be goblins, could be elementals. Looks like it's humans. And worst possible, because that means my trap is turned off and they didn't give me a push target. Although at the same time, the good news is the second counter spells probably would have also been bad against Vials. So maybe I can get lucky and rip a Field of Ruin to turn on the trap. Play the Orb. This matchup I think is kind of tough. At least game 1, because Surgical is really bad, Trap is really bad. But post board we get some more removal, we get Bridge, we get Profane Memento. So Counterspell is also kind of bad against them. I don't know if we're gonna have enough cards to bring in, because I want to cut. You usually want to cut Counterspell, Trap, and Surgical against them. Maybe I just keep in Surgical, because I'm gonna bring in Memento 5, 6, 7, and then just cut Traps and Counterspells. Maybe bring in the Surgical, perhaps. We shall see. I mean, I am getting ahead of myself, but I don't really think I'm going to be able to win this game. Maybe. Okay, okay. That kind of helps. I'm going to tag the Ancient Ziggurat. Why am I doing this main phase? I don't really know. I just did it. Well, we're kind of here now. It's super awkward because I kind of have to push the champion. I don't think I can afford to take a bunch of damage from the champion. So I think I am supposed to push it. I guess I could have waited till their turn. There was no reason to do this on my turn. But I was going to have to get a basic swamp anyways, which is super awkward with the Sanity, but I don't really think I can afford to not cast Fatal Push on Champion this turn, so no matter what, I was going to have to get basic swamp. It's just, I could have done it on their turn. There is some F6 value, so we'll take that, but... So they're on 35 cards. I mean, the good news is they don't have pressure, because we killed their only, like, relevant pressure. Maybe they have another champion? Noble. Okay. 4 cards. We do have the orb going, which is something. It's definitely not nothing. But again, this counterspell is kind of dead because they have the vial. I wonder if there was a world where, yeah, maybe no, I couldn't counterspell plus push because I drew the Field of Ruin. I was gonna say I could like counter something that they tried to hardcast and then fatal push next turn, fetch trap, but I couldn't do that because I had Island Shores Field, and I would need blue, blue, black for that. All right, main phasing the vial activation, meddling mage. I mean, honestly, they probably just named Sanity, right? Because they know it's going to be hard for me to cast Trap. If I had a second Trap, I would have trapped them last turn. They named Crypt Incursion. That's also a reasonable name. That one's also reasonable. It's one of the ways that I can maybe get back out of this. Drown in the Lock. So that can kill Mantis Rider. Kill Rider, pay for the Sentinel, and then we're taking 3 a turn. I want to kill the Rider now so they can't image in response and copy the Rider. And normally you would want to wait till they untap, so you get an extra mill off the orb, but Mantis Rider wasn't tapped anyways, so... Maybe there's a world where I want to drown something else, but I highly doubt it. I can't imagine a scenario where I don't end up drowning the Rider regardless, so I might as well just do it on my turn, in case they have image. I mean, we're at 15, and they only have 3 power. And how many lieutenants have they gone through? Like 2? Yeah, 2 lieutenants. I mean, obviously, lieutenant is one of their ways that they can generate a lot more pressure. Because all of a sudden we double the clock, right? We go from 3 damage to 6 damage. So, hopefully we dodge that. Okay. Champion Grove. Interesting they're not sacking the Grove. Wonder what that means. I don't really know. Blue source would allow us to cast Sanity. Is this Athalia? Maybe a Reflector Mage? Sure. Alright, so what we need to do is draw blue source into 3rd Sanity. Probably not very likely. Alright, I drew a blocker. I think that's better than putting Lurrus in my hand. And or holding, I guess... Is there a world where I cycle this Fractured Sanity? Yeah, I think there is, and I probably should have cycled it main phase. I'm trying to hold it because there's a chance where like they make an attack this turn that puts them dead to the Sanity, the hardcast Sanity, because they have to untap and get a bunch of orb triggers. Because blue source is also worth +3. Like, Island is worth 17 cards. So if they tap 3 permanents, which they're already doing, this just means Island is lethal if I don't cycle it. So at that point, I probably wouldn't cycle it. All right, they've successfully cast Mantis Rider. No cards in hand. All right, so let's assume we do this. Now, hypothetically, just do a Athalia's Lieutenant check. Still only 2. They can, even though they have no cards, in combat, they can cycle the Grove, Violin Lieutenant. That would be 4, 7, 12, 14. So we would die if they hit Lieutenant. If I block like this, 3, 4, 7, 10, 12. Still dead to Lieutenant. So at that point, I might as well just do this. Because we are dead to Lieutenant either way, and I think I have to just try to draw a blue source here. I can't afford to cycle it. If I cycle it, I have no outs, so... Island. It's kind of like an island. It's kind of like an island, but not really. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 13. This is only 6. Man, so close. Oh, no, I'm just trying to think. I know I'm dead. I'm just trying to think if there was a way that I could have done this differently. I guess I can go... Oh, I do have an out. I do have an out. Field of Ruin, activate, cycle Sanity, hit Archive Trap. That's my only out, right? I believe so. So let's do that. Got a 3-outer. Three-outer. Unless I'm just bad at math, right? No, yeah, I'm gonna end up being short. All right, Archive Trap. Drum roll. Drum roll. What if I had let them untap first? Because that would have been 1 extra card. Did not get there. Was I short by 1 card? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, because they go to 4. And if I had let them untap at the unclaimed territory, they would go to 3, so I still would have died. Man. Alright. Okay, let's try the sideboard plan I was talking about. Damnation, Bridge, Surgical, Push, Memento, out Counterspell, out Trap, keep Surgicals. I think keeping Surgical is better than keeping Trap. Maybe that's wrong, though, because you still have Field of Ruin, and you can just get the 5 mana. Yeah, alright, let's just keep Trap. Surgical is just so bad against them. I mean, it's not, like, unplayable. It has its moments of being okay, but even when Trap is bad, you still have 4 Field of Ruin, and you can just get the 5 mana sometimes. Like, you're bringing in additional removal like Push and Damnation, so you're more likely to be able to just get the 5 mana naturally. I think it's okay. Alright, we're back here for game number 2. We lost game 1 to humans. What do we got? Swamp Field of Ruin, huh? I think I'm actually going to keep this hand. If we draw any land, we get to curve Push into Orb into Field plus Trap with Double Drown. I think this hand is actually just really good. Like, obviously it looks weird because of the 2 lands that we have, but Field of Ruin essentially finds blue mana anyways, so. Alright, they kept 7. They're on 61, by the way. Please have a creature and not a vial. I would like to cast Fatal Push. Pretty please. Nope, they did not cooperate. Kind of don't want them to know that I have the field, because I wouldn't actually mind hitting a cavern here. And for example, if I play the field, they might not play out the cavern because they know that I'm probably going to field them next turn. But given that I have Drawn in the lock, I actually kind of want to get the cavern. So they might them not knowing I have field makes it more likely they just run it out there. And even if I draw crab, I have to have a blue source in play before I play crab. I guess theoretically I could draw a non-fetchable, crack the Field of Ruin with the Delta still in hand, and then draw crab the turn after. Because if I draw crab next turn, this is land 3, so I have to fetch before activating the field anyways. So no cavern. Is this a Thalia, perhaps? Sanctifier Envec. Don't really think I care about that one. So I could crab, land, go, hold up, push if they go to vial something in end step. And then next turn I could field plus trap. I think that's better. I think it maximizes my resources a little bit more. Just gets more. It just gets more out of the crab, right? If I don't play the crab this turn and spew off the land, then if I don't draw a land next turn, then I'm kind of in a spot where crab just doesn't do anything. And I think this is still fine. And if I draw land, I can still just go crack Field of Ruin, play land, hold up drown, and trap them. So I think this is good. What's in the tank? What you got? Noble Hierarch. I'm not going to push that. They have enough lands and a vial already in play. I'd rather just save the push for a threat. Did you bring in Memento, right? Yeah, I did. I was going to say. Oh, I thought I forgot that one. Recruiter resolves. What you got? Oh, that's a way for them to search their library. That's funny. I thought my archive traps were dead. I forgot about Recruiter. Okay, definitely not cutting archive trap. I have to imagine they're getting a 2-drop. Because that's what they can vial into play. Alright. Tanked a little bit. Revealed Thalia Guardian of Thraben. Excuse me, I can't speak. Okay. Sanctifier is entering the red zone. I declare no blocks. 16 life. Alright, just in case they choose to Meddling Mage, I'm just going to do this in response. Alright. Vial activation resolves. I assume they're going to put in Thalia. I could choose to not cast Fatal Push here. Because I'm not sure that I care that much about the Thalia. But it is better if I hit a land drop, because I can go end step, push this, untap, land, crack field, and hold up drown. So I think I just want to use my mana. Even though I don't actually care that much about the Thalia, I think it's okay. It's kind of awkward. Well, I think it's better for me to just crack the Field of Ruin. It's a lot worse if I draw a trap, though. Because I could go crack Field of Ruin, get a basic island, play crab. And I get the Field of Ruin their canopy now, which is not too bad. Yeah, I like that. I know for a fact I'm going to draw a trap next turn, though. It's just kind of how this works. It's just how it works. Alright, so they're on the hook for 4 on the orb. Which is not too bad. Alright, Champion of the Parish. And Esper Sentinel. Okie dokie. File on 3. Mantis Rider? Sure. Okie dokie. That doesn't make any sense. There you go. Figured it out. 12. Alright. What do I want to draw? That's not bad. That ain't bad. Do you want to pay? I guess I'll pay. Guess I should fetch now. I should fetch now because they have a Vial on 3, so they could Skyclave Apparition in response. So this is 10. They go to 7 off of this. We can probably just take the champion. Take the champion hit, excuse me. Drum roll, please. That is a pretty good draw. Well, actually, is it? Depending on what they attack with, we can just... We'll see what happens. I think they're only allowed to attack with one. Never mind. I was gonna say I think they're only allowed to attack with one thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is there any way I die if I do this? I don't think so. They have 0 cards. Okay, so they just put themselves dead on board. Okay. I think they were only maybe supposed to attack with one champion, but at that point then I just take the hit, and I just kill them anyways, right? Okay. Going to game number 3. Interesting game to say the least. Do I like how I sideboarded? I definitely like Trap a little bit more now that they've shown me Imperial Recruiter, so I think I'm going to keep it like this. Alrighty, YouTube, we're back here for game number 3. Our opponent has kept 7 cards. We have a 1-lander. Only get a 1-lander. Okay, this hand's good. What am I putting back? I think the second Watery Grave. We can go Watery Grave, Ruin Crab on turn 1. Seems like they've picked up the pace a little bit, which is nice. They have Champion plus Thalia. Esper Sentinel. People love this card. I tried it a couple of times and I absolutely hated it every time I tried it. I mean, this is obviously the dream start with it, but... Okay, that's not too bad. I think I'm just going to pass. There's a good chance I just... Well, I mean, I'm going to field plus double trap them next turn, but I want to see what they do. I'm likely going to end up killing something with Drown this turn, but I want to hold it up in case they have Meddling Mage. What's really awkward about this is if they hold up the Vial on 2, they can actually respond to my Field of Ruin trigger. Like I go to activate Field of Ruin, they respond to the activation and put in Meddling Mage. So that could be really awkward. Vidalkin, so this looks like Deputy of Detention, which I'm going to respond to. They're going to target the crab. I'm going to respond, fetch for basic island, let it resolve, and then drown it. And then likely block. Blocking is a risky proposition if they have an image or another lieutenant, because then my crab could die. Alright, so fetch and response. Get an island. Let this resolve. See what they do. Honestly? Okay. Well, if I've chosen that I'm going to kill the deputy, I'm just going to wait till end step. I was wondering if they had a creature there, they probably would have filed it in. So that leads me to believe they don't have a 2-drop. Because they probably would have filed it in to deal me an extra point of damage there. So, I think we're good to go. Unless they draw the Meddling Mage off of the Sentinel trigger. That's also a really good draw. Just tag the Waterlog Grove. I'll get an island for sanity purposes. Trap you. I'll choose not to pay. Trap you again. So now they're on 11 cards. They're just dead to the sanity. And they only have 3 power in play. So we should be good. And even if all else fails, we do have Bridge. And they've already gone through 2 Deputies, Knight of Autumn. And I think we saw a Skyclave apparition at one point, game 1. And I can't imagine they would board it out, so they probably have a Skyclave somewhere in there too. And I don't see it in the graveyard unless I'm missing. I see Sanctum Prelate. Yeah, I don't see a Skyclave. 2 Deputies and a Knight, though, so. Hopefully they just cast Mantis Rider. We'll just kill them with Sanity. Skyclave for 3 would not be good for us, let me tell you. Skyclave for or not Skyclave, Sanctum Prelate for 3. They usually only play 1 copy of Sanctum Prelate, so I don't think I should be worried about a second copy. Alright, Noble Hierarch resolves. Red, white, colorless. Recruiter? Okay. So they're dead? Should be, right? Block there, take... I don't even have to block. I can just take 9. But I will block. Just to make sure. Unless there is a recruiter target that I'm not thinking of. I got Prelate. A little late to the party. Little late to the party. Alright, I will cast Fractured Sanity. Your turn. Think we got him. I think we got him. Unless they have Endurance. Endurance is the only thing I can think of. They don't have Endurance. Alright. 3-1 got there against humans. I think this is generally a fairly close matchup. One that I would say Mill is slightly unfavored in, but we ended up getting there in the end, so hope you enjoyed the games. See you back in just a little bit for round number 5. Alright, everybody, we are here for the 5th and final round. We're 3-1. See if we can close it out with a nice little 4-1 here, and this is a good way to start it. Grab into Orb, into Sanity. We have Trap if they fetch. This hand almost has it all. I say almost. Might as well have it all. Alright, Island, Crab, your move. What you got? Force of Will? XD? Just kidding. Another humans deck? There's a lot of people playing humans today, apparently. I'm surprised at that. Maybe they're just dodging all the Asmo decks. Second Archive Trap, not the best. Not the best. Unless we draw Field of Ruin. Or they play Imperial Recruiter. Imperial Recruiter, please. Man, imagine if they played Recruiter this turn. Looks like they're not playing Recruiter. Esper Sentinel. Champion of the Parish. Okay. Aether Vial. So they must have drawn Vial, right? Because you almost always lead on Vial. Well, I don't really think my counterspell is doing much. I think I'm actually just going to kill the Noble Hierarch. Oh, I should have let them untap first. Yeah, that was bad. I should have let them untap first. I just missed the card off the orb. Because there's not really anything they can cast in their upkeep. Because, yeah, I should have just upkeeped it. I think this buys me a good amount of time, though. I will block. Alright, they chose not to attack. Drown? Not drown, I mean, it's the card I'm looking for. Field of Ruin, not drown. I'm just gonna pass. Hold up Counterspell Sanity. I don't really think Counterspell is gonna do all that much, but you never know. Maybe they draw a land and slam a 2-drop, then I can counterspell that. I'm basically counterspelling anything they play, even a 1-drop at this point. Alright, well I can't counterspell a Vial activation. If they have Thalia, it's not too bad. I'm going to let this go, because I have 2 copies of the cards that matter. So there's no point in cycling Sanity in response, because I have 2 of them. If they take 1, that's fine. I can cycle the other one anyways. And I assume that's what they're taking. I think they just have to hope that I don't draw Field of Ruin. Wait, they took Counterspell? Huh. I don't get it. I guess that means they're casting a 1-drop here, and they want to attack with Champion? Because they're worried about me countering the 1-drop? Oh, they drew a land, okay. I guess that makes a little more sense then. Is this a Meddling Mage? Seems like it. Yeah. Sanity or Trap? They chose Sanity, which makes sense, but at the same time, I can just cycle these, so. Not terribly concerned with that. Take 3 from the Champion, go to 15. I think, as long as we hit a Field of Ruin, which is only a 4-outer, but if we hit a Field of Ruin, I think we're in a good spot. Field of Ruin, please. Dark Slick Shores, not quite. Okay. Given that they have the Meddling Mage, I think I'm just going to cycle this anyways to try and hit a fetch land. And or Fatal Push. About a Visions of Beyond. Quite there on the Visions. Oh, we will be when they untap, though. I'm going to pass. Question is, am I casting Surgical? Do I care about any of these cards? Thalia, not really. Lieutenant, probably, but they've already gone through 2 copies. Lieutenant, I think, is the scariest card. I think if they keep the Vial on 2, it might be worth it for me to Surgical Lieutenant. Well, this is tough. It's a very tough spot. I think I should. They're thinking about it. But I kind of want to pay 2 life. They chose not to use the ability. Well, this is awkward because if I Surgical now, they can respond and activate Vial if they have one in their hand. Okay, I'm just going to let this go then. That's fine. Hopefully, they play a... Well, maybe this was bad because if they had a Lieutenant and another 2-drop, they would just play the Lieutenant with mana, and then with the trigger on the stack, they would Vial another 2-drop in. So I'm not really going to get into a position where I can respond to a Vial activation and Surgical Lieutenant because it's just better for them to cast the Lieutenant first, which looks like what they're doing, yeah. Maybe I messed that up. But again, they could just respond to the Surgical and Vial it in. Okay, that's fine. Alright, so 5/5 Champion. It's 10 damage. I need to find a field of ruin. Please. Please and thank you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast Visions of Beyond before taking damage, or before choosing whether or not I want to block. I highly doubt I'm going to cast Surgical Extraction, but I want more information on what I'm drawing, and that would give me more information on whether or not I want to choose to block. So I'm going to do this first. Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. Okay, so we drew Sanity, Crab, Push. Those are not very good. Still need a Field of Ruin. Trying to think if it's more beneficial for me to block. So if I block the champion, take 5, go to 10. If I brick, I can cycle Sanity, push the champion. I have 6. I think I should block. Yeah, because even if I block and I draw Field of Ruin, I can go Hedron Crab, Field of Ruin, crack it, trap you twice. Okay, yeah, so I should block. Question is, am I casting Surgical in response to a Vial activation? Okay, they didn't activate the Vial. So the answer to that question is no. I may, however... This is a weird spot. Like, if they choose to Vial on my draw step, are they baiting me? Do they have a freebooter? Or do they just have another Meddling Mage? Okay, well, never mind. So they're on 3 cards. This is not easy. So I can cycle the Fractured Sanity and try and spike a land. And then I can go Crab, land, push champion, block mage. Or I can not play the Crab, cycle Sanity, push champion. And that has me taking 6 damage. Any one human... No, Mantis Rider would be lethal. I think that gives me better odds, though. I'm gonna cycle this. I think this gives me more odds to win. Of course, I drew the Field of Ruin a turn too late. That's unfortunate. The question is, am I surgicaling? So what am I dead to? I'm dead to Mantis Rider, which they have none in their graveyard. Maybe they're just not playing Mantis Rider. I've seen versions without it. We are dead to Lieutenant. However, if I shock for the surgical, because I need to be able to push the champion, right? So let's say I push the champion, shock for the surgical, go to 8, target Lieutenant, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any one human is 7 damage with me at 8. Oh, that's tough. Put me in a predicament here. I'm just going to pass. If they activate the Vial, I'm going to reconsider, but I'm going to pass for now. This is really really tough. This exact spot right here. Again, I can respond to the Vial activation and surgical a 2-drop. But there's a good chance that if they had Lieutenant, they would have already Vialed it in on their turn to get more damage. So I don't think they have Lieutenant. They could have Thalia. This Vial could also be a bait. But like, I can't imagine a world where they have Lieutenant in hand and chose not to put it into play. It could be Image, but they also usually only play 1 or 2 copies of Image, so I don't think the numbers really work out that way. I'm going to let this go. I don't know if I should, but I'm going to let it go. This is a really tough spot. They didn't have the Image. Wait, they targeted Freebooter? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so they need 2 humans to kill me. That was a tough spot. That was a really tough spot. I really don't know what I was supposed to do there. It's really, really close. So now they probably take trap, which is bad because then we don't even have lethal. Yeah. Really, really tough spot. Oh no, we do, yeah, because the orb, right? So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They need 2 humans to kill me or another lieutenant. But I can't surgical because if I pay 2 life to surgical, then I'm dead on board. So they found a rider. Oh yeah, that's 2 humans. Man, unfortunate. Unfortunate. All right, we're gonna enact the same sideboard plan as last time. We'll do all this stuff, and we'll cut counterspell and oh no, we cut the surgicals, right? Yeah, we kept the traps, cut the surgicals because they had recruiter. Right. Yep. Okay. All right, everybody, we're back for game number 2. Let's go ahead and play first, and another one-lander. I don't like keeping any one-landers with this deck. This isn't the best 2-lander either, but I'm going to keep this one. Memento on 1, Orb on 2, Bridge on 3, ideally. And we'll go from there. Yeah, that was a tough game 1. I want to go back and watch that one. A couple games I want to go back and watch this league. Really, really interesting decision points. All right, on the hook for 1 on the orb. They're going to take up the vial. We'll see what they got. They milled another vial. Kind of wanted them to draw that, because it's mostly probably not the best for them. But here we are. Meddling Mage on the stack. What are they going to name? Fractured Sanity? Okay, see, I always love when they name Sanity because you can just cycle this. It's like, cycling is not casting. Alright, second orb. Lots and lots of triggers. Profane Memento. Hopefully we can gain some life. Alright, what do they got? Blue, red, white. Looks like a Mantis Rider to me. And drum roll, of course it is. They have an image. Okay. I would like to draw land for this bridge. Please and thank you. Land me. That is the opposite of the land. Doing this now in case I draw Watery Grave. Did not draw Watery Grave. Unfortunate. We get a lot of orb triggers with the Profane Memento, so we're probably not going to die this turn. Famous last words. But now, the awkward part is, even if we draw land, we'll have 5 cards. We'll play a land, we'll play a bridge, we'll have 3 cards, which means we're at least on the hook for 1 more Mantis Rider attack. Well, 1 more turn where they attack with both riders. So I guess best case scenario is they play a lieutenant here to grow the riders, and then I draw land, because then that means I'll only have 3 cards in my hand the turn after, and the riders will be 4/4s. So we actually kind of want them to play lieutenant here. It's another rider. It's an Imperial Recruiter. That's not good for us. They're going to get Sanctum Prelate. Maybe they'll name 3. I hope they don't name 3. Alright, they got a Phantasmal Image. Unclaimed Territory, name Human, Image probably Rider. Yeah, this is especially bad because now, again, we're in that spot where even if we draw land, they're going to have 3 riders in play. We're going to have 3 cards in hand. So we're on a 0-outer. Another image. Good God. Yeah, now we just have no outs. That is unfortunate. Well, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So another orb is 18. So I think I just have to play bridge and hope that I gain enough life off of memento that I don't die on the attack. 3, 6, 9, 12. This is 15. And they're on the hook for 12 cards right now off the orbs. Question is, do I get a black source so I can cast Damnation? Hmm. If I get a black source, I have to go to 4. And they have 15 power in play. So I would need to hit 12 for 12 creatures, right? So I go to 4. They mill 12 cards. They're all creatures. I go to 16, and then I take 15 and go to 1. So I don't really think I can afford to get... Yeah, no, I can't do that. So we'll just get a basic island, play a bridge, and hope that we... So now we need to mill 10. Yeah, I mean, it's still not very likely, but... Yeah, again, I could play Orb. I guess the other line was play Orb and hope to gain enough life that I can just survive. But that uses my mana worse than Bridge, so... Alright. Looks like we're surviving, potentially. The problem is, even if we survive, we may not have any outs. Because, I mean, they're just not going to tap any permanents, right? Unless we're dead. Another rider? Yeah, that's lethal. Alright. Did not get there, unfortunately. 3 and 2 in the end. Let's go over the deck real quick. Yeah, I don't know. I like the additions from Modern Horizons 2. Fractured Sanity, very good card, and again, it just gives you some flexibility in terms of holding up mana on your opponent's turn and allowing you to still be able to cycle it, so it gives you a little bit of flexibility. Counterspell, powerful card. Deck's pretty good. I personally am not a huge fan of these decks, but I wanted to give you guys some content with it because I know that there are some mill aficionados out there. If you've made it all the way to the end of the video, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.